Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm doing a little bit of an impromptu book unhaul. Imagine that. I'm getting rid of some books. So, if you saw my last video, you might have noticed me mention that my room's a little bit everywhere at the moment. I've been moving shelves around and there's books and CDs and DVDs and just stuff everywhere. So, I pulled one series off my shelf. It's one that I've been a little bit, should I just give it away for a little while now? And then that started a domino effect and I was like, boom, 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 let's take some more off here. So let's just start because there's like 23, I think. So that series I just mentioned is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I own all 4 books, haven't read any of them yet. It was one of those things that I picked up at the beginning of the booktube-ness because it's a series that everyone's read and I saw it for cheap in charity shops. But there's several things to this. First of all, I've seen the first 2 films, so I know what happens. Second of all, I know the twist at the end, what happens to the main character. I know that. Third, so many people say that where this book is pretty decent, it kind of goes downhill. So do I really want to read this whole series if I know most of the plot lines and it gets a bit shit? No. Next up, Dark Heart by Darren J. Guest. I read it a few years ago. It was alright, nothing special. It's just kind of there. Don't really care. Then we have Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion, another book I read a few years ago. Again, it was alright. I just kind of own it and I'm never going to read it again. And I just, whatever's in it, let somebody else have it. It was alright. I enjoyed the film as well. Next up, I have Kill Your Friends by John Niven. So I randomly picked this up for like 50p or something in a charity shop. And then since then, I've sort of heard or seen or read that it's a little bit dickheadish, like everything about it. The characters are horrible. I don't dislike dislikable characters, but what I've read about it, I'm like, I don't really want to spend however long it's going to take me to read this, reading about this that I don't really care about. It's like about a record company and then they do drugs and you know, I'm not really into rich people being rich and then just being dicks. I think it's kind of like that. Next up, Written in Blood by Nathan Bush. This is an indie book that I got to review and it's not it. It's a crime series and I have some tabs here and you know what? There's like 100% chance that none of you guys are going to read this, so fuck it. At this point in the book, that many pages in, still got that many, out there, I wrote a little tab that says, split personality, question mark. And yeah, that's what it was. The killer and the police officer was the same person and I knew it then. And then I had all this. And I was just like, I already know what's going on. It was terrible. It was quite preachy as well. It's by a religious author, which I'm fine with. Put religion in your book, but do it so it fits with the story rather than with this. It felt like the story went on. Now it's a PSA for 3 pages about God and then the story carries on. It didn't feel interconnected enough. And then at the end, this split personality thing was dealt with terribly. There was no talk of the mental health issues. There was no anything. Basically what happens is the police officer or the detective who's the split personality guy, his partner finds out it's him and then kind of kills him, and then while he's dying is like, oh yeah, I didn't mean to kill all them people, it was my split personality, and then he was just like, oh, it's forgiven because you believe in God. No thank you. Next up, The Sisters Brothers by Patrick DeWitt. This one is, it was alright, again, not something that I really cared about. It was a 3 stars, so I was like, it's alright, therefore bye. Doll Shaker by Casey Renee Kisser. I got this when Goodreads used to do giveaways in the UK, not just America, and it's a poetry book. Either I'm not really into poetry or this poetry isn't that good. Not sure which one, not going to say which one. But also, there are pictures in this as well that look like they've been drawn at this scale and then blown up because they're really fuzzy, and I'm just like, really? You could have just drawn this really terrible picture this big and then it not be fuzzy and you can see the pixels. It's just not very well made. Next up, Harbour by John Ajvid Lindqvist. That's definitely wrong. Basically, I picked this one up because it's the same author as Let the Right One In. I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually going to unhaul this one. It's quite a chunker and I think I might read Goodreads and see if it seems decent. I don't know. This one is like 50%. But probably, you know. Next up, I have 2 Robert Rankin books. So I have Witches of Chiswick and The Hollow Chocolate Bunnies of the Apocalypse. I think I'm going to give these to my dad because he likes this sort of silly, humorous fantasy books. I thought they were alright. I thought they were kind of funny. Nothing to write home about. I have a stack of other Robert Rankin books I'm going to keep, and as I read them I'll probably just give them to my dad afterwards because it's just like, I think he'd enjoy them, so yeah, that's why these 2 are going. Next up, The Ugly Series by Scott Westerfeld. I read these last year, I think, most of them, all of them, don't know, can't remember. And while the concept was kind of cool, I think the one I liked the best might have been Pretties, I think, the second book. But it's just, it just went, book 2 and 3 are exactly the same plot, and I was just like, what's the point? It's taking up space on my bookshelf, where 2 of the books are exactly the same thing. The last one, it was alright, different characters. The first one, not massively into it, all this taliwar and all this stupid babyish language. It was alright, I'm glad I read them, don't need to keep them. Next I have The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I read this last year. I thought I was going to love it. The first sort of quarter of it, I was really into it, and then it just kind of got boring, and then the ending was fucking stupid, and it ruined the whole book for me, and it jumped the shark, and I wasn't a fan, so yeah. Bye bye The Lovely Bones. I've owned this book for so long, I'm glad I finally read it, but now it's going. I also still randomly have these 2 digest versions of Young Avengers Volume 4. Basically, if you wasn't here then, I was trying to buy the proper, like, graphic novel size off eBay, and they kept sending me these, and I was like, no, I asked you if it's a proper graphic novel size, and you said yes, and you sent me this, so give me my money back, and they did. And I just randomly have 2 of these digest versions. I own the full-size version now, don't need these, just kind of sitting about. Next up I have Offbeat Volume 1 by Jen Lee Quick. The synopsis of this book makes it seem like it's going to be a cute romance. It basically says an attractive guy moves next door, and then towards the end of it, it says wildly imaginative romantic drama. It's not. Basically the main character is just stalking this guy for the whole of this, and it's just really just not it. Next I have The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks. I do own a few more Ian Banks I'm going to keep and read and then potentially get rid of at the end. But with this one, it basically, I mean, it's like this, it's this big. It's not very big at all. It's like 200 pages less, I think. Yeah, just over 180 pages. And when I read this a few years ago, I had to put it down for like 2 months in the middle because there's so much animal killing for no reason and very just grossly over the top describing of snaring rabbits and killing them and shooting animals, and I was just like, I don't mind if you do it a little bit, if it's part of the story, but it just seemed gratuitous, and I'm just like, fuck it, I can't be bothered. I'll read true crime about real people killing people, but I'm not a fan of people just killing animals. Literally for most of this book, I'm like, bye. And then last but not least, I have Underworld by Kathy McPhail, I think. Yeah, I read this one a few years ago as well. It was alright. It's kind of like a middle grade-y. These kids that get stuck in a cave and then fantastical stuff happens, but does it? You don't really know at the end whether it did or not. It was alright. Don't really need to own it any longer. Also, side note, if my framing just changed then, it's because the stack that for some stupid reason I was putting underneath my tripod just fell over. Oh my god. But anyway, yeah, there are loads of books that I'm unhauling. Imagine that, I'm actually doing it. I've always said, oh, I don't know about unhauling, but I'm doing it. And I'm also glad that most of them are stuff that I have read rather than buying loads of books and then getting rid of them. There are a few in there, but most of them I have read, and I'm like, yeah, I've read it, cool, now it can leave, which is good. So yeah, let me know down below if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them, just whether you unhaul, I don't know, say some words in the comments, I'll reply back to you, it'll be a time. Let's do it. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, and please check out some of the others, and if you continue to enjoy, then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye.